Guys, it's time for another weekly weird news.
The modern online lexicon is full of incredibly useful terms for concepts that have always been around to some degree, but which have become commonplace now that everyone is online all damn day. Yesterday we covered several self-owns, in which a person is negatively affected by their own need to express themselves on social media. Today, let's talk about thirst traps. Now, you might not have heard the term before, but you've almost certainly witnessed it out in the wild. Urban Dictionary's top definition for a thirst trap is a sexy photograph or flirty message posted on social media for the intent of causing others to publicly profess their attraction. This is done not to actually respond or satisfy any of this attraction, but to feed the poster's ego or need for attention, at the expense of the time, reputation, and sexual frustration of those who view the image or reply.
Can you use it in a sentence, please? Anyways, just so we're clear though, what's referred to as a thirst trap is sometimes just a woman existing on the internet and being proud of her body and sexuality. A lot of guys toss around thirst trap as just another name for the friend zone. And sure, there's definitely women out there who manipulate the men around them for attention and vanity, but a lot of times it's just men completely failing to pick up on social cues and also not understanding that having an interaction with a woman isn't inherently flirting. Basically, not all thirst traps are thirst traps. Some thirst traps are thirst traps, but not all. Sometimes you're just a misogynist who can't see a woman as anything except a potential fuck partner. Okay, having said that, this week we got perhaps the most definitive example ever of what a thirst trap is. When a New York City woman tricked around 100 Tinder matches to all show up at the same place under the pretense of a one-on-one date so that she could make them compete for her affection in some sort of bullshit social experiment.
Whew, so this story first reached the attention of the masses thanks to a thread of tweets by user @BVDHigh, one of the unsuspecting schmucks who had fallen victim to the ruse. He described his story as an epic tale about subterfuge, dating in the 21st century, and the fall of human civilization.
The Pulitzer's on the way.
And he warned that this could happen to anyone. He describes matching with a young woman named Natasha on Tinder a few weeks ago, chatting for a bit, and her giving him her phone number to text. They chatted a bit more over there, and then she said that she unfortunately wouldn't be able to meet in person for a few weeks because she was working on a presentation.
Hey, I like a girl with a good work ethic. That's probably what he was thinking.
Well, he actually mostly just assumed that this was just a non-confrontational way for her to not take things further, aka ghost. And whatever, he moved on with his life.
Hey, at least she was nice about it, if that was the case.
Yeah. Weeks later, though, he gets a text from that same number asking, hey, let's go meet in the park. Let's go see a friend of mine do a DJ set and we'll take it from there. He agrees, he shows up at the event, but then suddenly, during that DJ set, his Tinder match takes the stage and addresses the entire crowd, which is all of her Tinder matches, with a Hunger Games style speech about what it's going to take to date her. He leaves, amazed at the fallopian fortitude of this woman, but many others actually stayed and competed.
I will say, if she was trying to ghost him, he took the hint and he moved on.
Yeah, he
a great example
was
of
like
how to act.
a normal person. And
Yeah. Also, fallopian fortitude, fucking great.
So he's getting that Pulitzer, damn it.
Yeah. When do they start giving out Pulitzers for Twitter?
They should. We're gonna make our own Twitter Pulitzer.
Now at this point, with just this random Twitter thread to go off of and just a single photo of the scene, this reads like, at best, a typical Twitter story full of exaggerations and embellishments. Ever since Zola the stripper managed to sell her Twitter thread story to Hollywood, did that ever get made?
It's going to. It's in the works.
Anyways, after that, this kind of thing is pretty much a go-to for those seeking minor viral fame, especially if they have a SoundCloud link attached to the whole story. But alas, soon this one man's story was corroborated by other victims, along with video evidence and coverage on various outlets, including Good Morning America, where all viral things go to die. The author of that Twitter thread didn't stick around, but according to other first-hand accounts and videos of the event, Natasha stood on the stage and, after explaining what was going on, disqualified anyone in the audience from dating her if they had a beer belly, a long beard, they were bald, they were under 5'10", or wore khakis.
I guess I'm out.
No mention of cargo shorts in this whole thing? I thought that was a faux pas. I'm gonna wear my cargo shorts tomorrow, damn it. She then had the remaining men race each other, have a push-up contest, and then line up in front of her so she could physically swipe them left or right. What a fucking terrible nightmare scenario in this dumb world.
The reaction to all of this was, of course, all over the place. Some were on board with what the social experiment aspect of it seemed to be trying to say about how online dating for women means swimming through dozens or even hundreds of matches who aren't really at all what you're looking for. Okay. Others found the whole thing to just be an absurd and amusing example of the lengths that people will go to for a date. But plenty of others saw this as some vain, lying, attention-starved woman embarrassing and wasting the time of a bunch of dudes who did nothing to deserve it. And we were pretty firmly in that middle camp, seeing the news headlines and just shouting dumb at our computer screens and then forgetting about it. But on Thursday of this week, the inevitable official video of the event hit YouTube. And now we're pretty sure that this Natasha lady totally sucks.
Yeah, it's like she ran a, what is it, try-hard athlon. It's like,
Yeah.
She's a real tough mutter.
I call it the Thirst Games.
Oh,
it's like the Hunger Games, but the Thirst Games.
Okay, cool. Yes, of course, this was all done with the intention of going viral on YouTube. That is just adding on top of this dumb story.
Why do something like this if you're not going to get a little bit of AdSense money off?
I don't walk outside my door unless I'm monetizing it. Now, anyways, the video entitled "The Tinder Trap," hey, another great name, good for her, was posted to the account of Rob Bliss, the project's creator, who previously achieved viral success with that hidden camera video of a woman walking around New York City getting catcalled by men she walked past. That video was actually interesting, specifically because it showed how a woman simply existing in public can lead to uncomfortable comments from male bystanders. But yeah, there was no elaborate ruse there. It just captured on camera a phenomenon that lots of women experience every day. This video, on the other hand, is one of the most misguided and conceited things ever voluntarily published to YouTube. It's rare that someone does something questionable and then their detailed explanation of why they did it actually makes them look worse, but that's what happened here. And you know what? It's fascinating.
Yeah, it's like a social experiment, but in ways they didn't intend. Anyway, Natasha and Rob, they start the video by listing off things that people put in their Tinder bios that are essentially demands. So the person I go on the date with, they must be this, or they must not be this. Wow, how dystopian and messed up. Would people be okay with doing this in real life? Okay, so Natasha and Rob, great question there.
Yeah.
Here's one of the things about online dating that's actually great. You can be totally upfront about what you want and don't want without fear of someone physically getting in your face and calling you a piece of shit. This works both ways too. You can look at a potential match's bio and decide if their preferences are up your alley. One of the examples they list at the beginning is white guys only, which seems like something only a racist would put in their profile. But isn't it actually kind of good that you can click on that person's profile and immediately conclude that they totally suck instead of wasting a bunch of time figuring that out through conversation or even meeting in person?
Yeah. Or, if you're any other race, you just go, okay, well, bye.
Yeah.
Done.
Yeah.
What's the point? At least this person put it out there.
Yeah, exactly.
I know exactly who they are as a person. Well, whatever. Now, sure, it's confrontational and a direct in a way that's not socially acceptable to do in person. And sure, people might be turning away potential matches that they'd totally click with despite their differences. But that's online dating. You're still allowed to meet people in real life, Natasha. Now, of course, Natasha completely fails to understand this, or maybe she does. It's unclear, because while the social experiment here is presented as how would men react to treating real life like Tinder, the actual experiment is more like, I'm gonna be a total asshole and see how many men still wanna fuck me. Which is actually a great experiment, and we'd be totally on board with it if you weren't acting like you're literally the first person to ponder this question.
You know, it really makes you think.
How terrible can I be?
Yeah. Anyway, to begin the experiment, Natasha literally just cycles through all of her Tinder matches swiping right without considering for a second whether they're actually someone she'd be into, like an inconsiderate asshole. This behavior would be unacceptable in real life. Isn't that profound, guys?
Imagine a girl at a bar just walking up and saying,
oh
no,
my
you're
God.
ugly.
Have you ever thought about it like that? Like if we swipe people, that would be rude, but we swipe Tinder profiles every day?
Wow.
Really makes you think. So then, okay, she chats with each of them for a little bit. She gives them a phone number. Next, she and Rob hire a bunch of overseas call center workers for presumably sweatshop wages to use a service to have conversations with these men based off of a basic script and get them to all agree to meet at the park at the same time under the pretense of a one-on-one date. Isn't it crazy how when you pay people living in poverty to pretend to be you and invite men on a date, the men just assume you're not actually inviting 100 other dudes? Really makes you think.
She's
This is a social experiment.
very deep. Yeah.
I've never thought of it that way.
About as deep as a dog's food bowl. Well, I guess if it's a big dog. Anyways, speaking of bitches, the rest of the shit that's pretty much already been covered. A bunch of dudes show up. Natasha eventually rolls up in a stretch limo with 2 bodyguards for some reason. And she gets on stage and explains what's going on, asking, quote, "Do you have what it takes to win a date with me?" To which I would assume at least a couple of the people have been like, "You fucking suck."
Yeah, someone shouted like, "Bullshit."
Turned into a WWE.
Yeah. You fucked up.
Anyways, I don't know, Natasha. I'm starting to feel like a big part of this social experiment is you wanting to feel like the center of attention and wanting the validation of knowing that your amateur modeling pics can lure a bunch of men out to stare at you on stage and maybe even stick around like suckers to do shit like race each other and see who can do the most push-ups. Okay, maybe that's not fair though. Yes, the question at the heart of this experiment does increasingly seem to just be how many dudes want to fuck me. But the other big question here is just how thirsty are the men of New York City? And apparently the answer is very thirsty. I mean, it's the city that never sleeps. Who's got time between the 20-hour workday and hitting the equinox afterwards to find true love?
Thirstiest city in America.
Yeah. It's very hot out in the summer too.
Yeah, that's the key to why New York pizza tastes so good.
Yeah, it's all the sweat.
The saliva and sweat.
Yeah.
Yeah, it turns out a lot of New York men have absolutely no shame and will willingly look like fools for a chance at hooking up with a woman who has already demonstrated that she's clearly a narcissist and dating her would be horrible.
I don't know, maybe they're just like a challenge. Maybe they're like, you know what? Maybe I like a challenge. You know what? Fuck this girl, but I bet I could do more push-ups than this guy.
Yeah.
And the ultimate thing would be like, if you were like the perfect man, who is probably also wants to be the center of attention at all times, and is the reason why they stuck around and proved that they could do more push-ups and stuff, to be like, to do it all, and then she's like, "You're the one," and he's like, "You know what? Fuck you, you ugly bitch." That would be great.
That would be great. That didn't happen though.
No.
Anyway, it's important to note here that these men of New York are the thirstiest men on earth, because as much as everyone's roasting Natasha over this stupid stunt, the men who actually stuck around after finding out what was going on, they deserve to be roasted just as much. Have some goddamn self-respect. You can clearly see that this is being filmed for all the world to see, and yet you still chose to publicly debase yourselves. You live in one of the most densely populated cities on earth, with a gender ratio of 4 women for every 3 men, where the bars don't close until 4 a.m.
And the cocaine flows like water.
You don't need to compete in the Psychopath Thirst Games. So you get it, like Hunger Games, but with thirst?
I got it.
Yeah. You don't need this. Like, New York City is probably the best place to be a millennial-aged man trying to date women.
Yeah, if you have a successful job and you can afford to live there, sure. But the stress weighing on your shoulders of trying to compete in that rat race just to own a 200 square foot apartment for $4,000 a month, it's gonna bring you down.
Even if you're poor though, you just go out to a bar, spend $50 on beer, and then complain to someone you're interested in about, man, isn't this city like ridiculously expensive?
And that person is also gonna be depressed and also have a...
Oh man, it really makes you depressed and horny.
I would like to point out though, if Elliot had a Tinder profile, it immediately in all caps on the top would say, "No blind chicks." So,
yeah,
how about a taste of your own medicine?
No South Africans, no blind chicks. Yeah.
You going after the farmers too, Elliot?
Oh God.
Yeah, that's a whole different story. Anyways, back to this. At one point in the video, while Natasha is interviewing the remaining contestants, a gentleman storms the stage, Kanye West style, to grab the mic and say, "Excuse me, this shit you just did right here, pulled this stunt on all these men who have stuff to do, is fucked up. You know it's fucked up." They left this clip in the video, presumably to support their original point about how the way we list our preferences on dating apps would be unacceptable in real life. But they seem to be missing the part where he says, "all these men who have stuff to do," as in you've inconvenienced a ton of people with this. The whole reason people are picky on Tinder is to avoid inconvenience, and here you are inconveniencing a bunch of men, essentially proving nothing except that, wow, shocker, people don't like to have their time wasted. Very profound once again.
Makes you think.
Natasha follows up this man's rant by saying, "This is what happens on a day-to-day basis on dating," which isn't a complete sentence, and also, no, it fucking isn't what happens at all.
Yeah. No. You don't.
Waste my time was a 2017 thing.
Yeah. Natasha eventually ends up choosing the most shameless man in all of New York as her date, and she ends the video with a voiceover in which she says, "Just because someone doesn't check off every box on what we find attractive doesn't mean they aren't. It's absurd, isn't it? To judge people by such petty things as if they like to wear khakis. We know that.
That's what she did!
Just look at how angry this makes people, and yet this is what we've been doing the whole time. I guess sometimes you just have to lay a trap to catch people's attention and start a conversation. Wow. Really makes you think.
Is she looking in the mirror as she records this?
Probably.
As deep as a ketchup packet. I'm trying to think of very shallow things, and there's not much. We Americans, we like a lot of sauce on things. We like
true.
a lot of food.
Yeah.
So our bowls and our
Ketchup
sauce
packets.
packets, very
Very
deep.
deep, yeah.
So, yeah. Well, what's especially crazy about this is that even once the video is finished, it's still completely unclear who this message is even directed at. Despite the victims of this stunt being the guys, the kind of behavior she's describing and doing herself is almost exclusively the realm of straight women. And why are so many straight women so absurdly picky on dating sites? Because so many straight men are so thirsty. Your video literally just proved that. Are you saying that instead of narrowing down your dozens of suitors based on personal preferences, women should instead go on a date with every single man who shows interest in them? Do you realize how insane that sounds? Even if you're just saying women should at least give every guy that's interested in them a chance to talk to them, how do you not understand that there are tons of very valid reasons why women have deliberately chosen not to do that?
Yeah, the whole thing's bonkers. It's the dumbest social experiment ever published to YouTube. And that includes all the bullshit Sam Pepper used to upload.
I don't know, Family Kiss Day or whatever down at the beach.
No Clothes Family Day?
Oh, No Clothes Family Day, that's what it was.
I mean, at least Sam Pepper and that guy, they're at least aware of how inherently dumb
And,
those social experiments are.
Especially in the latter video, all actors.
Yeah, they're all fake. This one, 100% real, baby.
Real salt of the earth people, and they are salty.
Because of the sweat
Yeah.
and the thirst
Yeah. Very salty.
and the
Too much
the
salt
tears.
makes you very, very
Yeah.
thirsty.
Bunch of salt boys.
Yeah. Look at these salt boys.
Salt is feminizing America's men.
Salt chads.
Yeah, so the people behind this Tinder Trap video, they think they've discovered some universal truth that everyone else is just too dumb to realize. And we say people because, again, as much as Natasha is getting rightfully shit on for this, the stunt was created, directed, and produced by Rob Bliss, the dude from the beginning of the video. He's actually probably an even worse person than Natasha because he sent her out into the world to execute his laughably stupid idea and then take all the heat for it as well.
So yeah, Rob, you suck, but also Natasha, you suck too. Even if you didn't do this to prove a point, you definitely did this for attention because you're an extremely basic person struggling to stand out in a city where you're just one of thousands of aspiring actress/model/singers. If you're having trouble finding a meaningful match on Tinder, maybe it's because you're just not that interesting. You're one of those people who thinks that having the money and free time to spend 2 years traveling across 15 countries, taking selfies, makes you unique and cultured and not just a privileged narcissist. Your greatest accomplishment in life so far is participating in a thirst trap that only succeeded at showing that despite how uninteresting you are, men still want to bang you. Also, this is literally The Bachelorette. You invented The Bachelorette.
What if we had a bunch of dudes competing for the affections of one woman?
And then
we filmed it.
And then we gender swap it. I think Bachelorette came second.
Yeah,
so
it
that was the
originally
gender
The
swap.
Bachelor.
Yeah.
But it's like, there's like 10 fucking shows on TV that do pretty much this, except the people know what they're getting into.
Yeah. I wonder
Like-
if did they get releases for everyone?
They didn't blur anyone's face, and I refuse to believe that they got any releases. I think that might be like, oh, you were in public, so it's fine.
Yeah,
But,
but I think if the purpose this goes into like fair use stuff, but if the purpose of it is specifically to monetize it, like I think you can film stuff like news and stuff, and if there's people walking in the background and they're not directly part of the project, then it's fine. But if you have someone on camera with the sole purpose of monetizing off of their face and reaction stuff, that might be something. I mean, I'm not up on the New York filming laws. But
I mean, she mostly filmed the guys that stuck around, and these guys clearly have no shame, and they're perfectly fine with being filmed, like just being at the bottom of the barrel thirst
well,
level.
they're probably just like her. They're probably also aspiring models and singers,
Yeah.
SoundCloud rappers, viral wannabe stars, and they're like, you know what? This is really going to help my career appearing in this.
Yeah.
I was contestant
as
number
seen
3.
on the thirst trap.
I had to beat another man to death with a giant skillet to prove that I loved this woman more than the rest of them.
God.
That's what they need to take it a step further and actually do the thirst trap Hunger Games.
Yeah.
And that way they have to kill each other for her affection.
Yeah. Wow. That would really make you think.
I would think so hard about that. But anyways,
You know what this says about like dating? Like
People are willing to kill each other just to fuck me.
You know,
It makes me feel pretty good about myself.
maybe if you see that, it's bad, right? Maybe we shouldn't do that.
Maybe as a society, we shouldn't murder each other for the affection of a woman.
You know, some people would murder for a date. What if we didn't, though?
Yeah.
Fuck you. Anyway, let's move on because it's election season, and so far we've covered one candidate who's weirdly obsessed with Bigfoot and the Sasquatch sex life, and another candidate who blew it all by lying about graduating from college. But the crazy train does not stop. Now, over in Florida, the same state where last week's action took place, candidate for the House of Representatives Bettina Rodriguez Aguilera recently earned the coveted endorsement of the Miami Herald newspaper, who say that she's got a great agenda to help the working class despite her alien abduction claims.
Hold on.
Sure, she's gone on record claiming that as a child she was beamed up to a spaceship by 3 blonde aliens who she remains in contact with telepathically to this day, and that the Coral Castle tourist attraction in Florida that was built in the 1920s is actually an ancient alien pyramid. Sure, but she's also got some good ideas about reducing homelessness and student loan debt. Maybe Florida needs someone who can think outside of the box, like really outside of the box.
I like to think that my mind it thinks galactically.
Hey, look, I mean,
Think locally, act universally.
I'm getting a message.
Yeah.
We should do something about homelessness.
Yeah.
Oh my God, these aliens. What do they say about a stock market?
Donated a lot of my free time down at the local Food Not UFOs. So, hey, whatever. I don't know.
Hey, we all got stuff, right?
I'll wait to see who the Miami New Times gives their endorsement to. They cover all the fun.
Oh, is that like their LA Weekly? Even though LA Weekly fucking sucks now?
Yeah, basically.
Okay.
Anyways, over here in California, there's a governor's race happening this election with Democrat Gavin Newsom expected to take over for Jerry Brown and hopefully not fuck up all the good shit that Jerry Brown was able to accomplish over the last 8 years.
He probably will, though.
But there's, of course, also a Republican candidate on the ticket, and he's still expected to get at least 40% of the vote because of tribalism. That man is John Cox. And last week he was recorded saying that the wait times at California DMVs is worse than the Holocaust. Could have picked a less severe thing and been right.
I mean, it's not great, but...
Certainly not the Holocaust. Yeah. Okay, yeah, that needs a bit more context. Here's his full quote. You know, I met a Holocaust survivor in Long Beach. He survived concentration camps, and he said this was worse. He's 90 years old, and he had to wait 4 hours down in Long Beach. Can you imagine that?
Well, John,
you can set an appointment now, like on the website and stuff.
I mean, I'm not sure I do believe that, John.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, this guy, he might have actually said that in jest, perhaps. But no, I don't believe that any actual Holocaust survivor would ever sincerely say that waiting at the DMV is worse than being in a Nazi death camp. I just have trouble accepting that that's... And it turns out John Cox might have actually mixed up a few of the details in the story he was telling. Turns out that old Holocaust survivor that he was talking to actually told him that waiting in line at the DMV reminded him of the wait times in line back in Germany and Latvia before the war. So, not really the same thing.
Oh, not really the same thing? Not the same thing at all.
Whoops. Yeah, so Mr. Cox, future Governor Cox, for his part, he did issue a pretty solid apology, which is rare these days.
California needs Cox. That should be his slogan.
I mean, his chances are pretty bad.
Is he a big guy?
Have fun with it. No.
That'd be cool.
No.
Big Cox.
No. He actually seems like a pretty decent person. His views are very moderate for a Republican. Also, though, I mean, if you're so concerned about DMV wait times, you do realize the only way to fix that is to pump more tax money into the DMV, right? You know, that thing that you and your party constantly campaign against.
No, we need to privatize it.
Oh my God. Well, you can go to I'm a AAA member. Go to the DMV, a fucking breeze. You just go to the fucking AAA.
I had to go last year when I got my motorcycle license, and I just made a scheduled appointment, and I walked in, and they were like, cool, here's your scheduled appointment. I waited maybe 15 minutes, and that was it.
If you live in LA, hot tip here, Pasadena.
Yeah, go far, far away from Hollywood.
Get the fuck out of Hollywood, you moron.
The drive there and back is going to be less time than dealing with it.
There's a great Mongolian barbecue spot right across the street from the Pasadena DMV. Make an afternoon out of it.
Yeah.
Anyway, whatever. The lesson here is that if you're running for public office or just doing anything publicly at all, maybe don't say that a minor inconvenience is worse than the fucking Holocaust. I don't know.
Maybe he just got finished watching like that Curb Your Enthusiasm episode with the two survivors.
I'm a survivor.
No, you don't understand. We were out on an island. Anyways, moving on. We recently talked about that mummy that got dug up in Egypt and how when they opened the sarcophagus, it was filled with a bunch of bones and a mysterious black liquid that turned out to just be raw sewage that had leaked into it. Many people, disappointed that opening the tomb hadn't triggered a supernatural apocalyptic event to put us all out of our misery, asked that maybe as a consolation prize they could at least let us all get a taste of that juice. Well, last week, also in Egypt, archaeologists dug up a mysterious white substance that has turned out to be 3,200-year-old cheese.
Ooh.
I bet it smelled great.
Aged cheese.
Yeah, aged in the sands of Egypt.
No, they're saying it might be the oldest cheese ever discovered. And wouldn't you know it, people want a taste of that cheese.
Of course they do.
Much like that mummy juice that the scientists said was literally just raw toxic sewage. Scientists are saying that this ancient cheese that's 3,200 years old is full of bacteria that will make anyone who eats it extremely sick.
But will they die?
No, they didn't say
Because it
anything
might
like
be
that.
worth it then. Imagine the flavor profile. It would just like be a punch to your taste buds.
Yeah.
And you know, you get older, your taste buds, they lose.
Yeah, you
as
need
much of the-
something stronger.
Yeah.
I'm at this point where I'm just popping cloves of garlic in my mouth just to feel something.
You know what? It tastes great.
Yeah.
Back when I was young, I couldn't be within 5 feet of anyone eating a bunch of garlic.
Break off some of that mummy rags, just like a dip it
Dip
in
it
the
in
cheese.
there. Oh yeah. Like we need
Wash
like
it down with
what is
the
it like called?
juice.
Like the boards that come with the cheese and the meats and stuff like that.
Cheese board.
No, it's like a
Charcuterie?
Yeah. With all this ancient Egypt shit on it.
Mummy charcuterie?
Yeah. And you get a little sphinx that's a salt shaker.
Very rare.
Yeah.
It tastes good because it's rare. That's another thing about food. As you get older, shit just tastes good based on how much money you spent on it and how exclusive it is.
Yeah.
I mean, like this wine is pretty okay, but no one else has tried it, so therefore it's delicious. Anyway, the cheese is gonna get you extremely sick, but not kill you. But that's not stopping some people from wanting a bite of this forbidden and rare snack.
And why should it?
So far on Change.org, a petition is still in its early stages with just a few signatures, but one person who signed explained their reasoning quite convincingly, saying, they probably didn't eat it back then because it still needed to ripe for a couple centuries. I have the feeling now it might just be perfect.
I got a feeling. You got a feeling about this cheese.
They obviously left the cheese in the tomb uneaten
It was meant
for a
to
reason.
be found by future generations
Yeah.
and then eaten.
Why would they put a perfectly good cheese in this tomb with no one around to eat it? They knew.
They knew.
The cheese isn't ready. Better lock it up a few more centuries in that tomb.
I might make pizza out of it. Yeah.
Yeah, over on Twitter, many are speculating about just how perfect a pairing that the tomb cheese and the mummy juice would be. Imagine that flavor profile. Imagine the notes.
God damn it.
I just want to try the juice and cheese.
Yeah, it's like wine and cheese. It goes together perfect.
Exactly. I mean, like, and
Come on down to the Nile charcuterie.
it's awful.
Take you some of that mummy wrap and dip it right there in the mummy juice.
I'm very sick instantly.
Yeah.
But hey, got to try it.
Yeah, and you cut the cheese with the tool that was used to rip the brain out of ancient Egyptians so they could mummify them. It's all we try to keep things as historically accurate as possible down here at the Nile charcuterie.
Yeah. I just think it's cool they're still finding things out there.
Really? You know what's cool? I like that they just dig around in Egypt and find stuff.
Yeah.
Keeps things interesting.
Yeah. Sometimes it's cheese. Sometimes it's a couple mummies dipped in juice.
It is depressing. Like, it's nice that they are still like finding stuff like that, because it is depressing when I haven't been, would love to go someday, but you have like the shot of the pyramids and the Sphinx, and then if you look,
Cairo's right there.
if you turn the camera around 180 degrees, there's like a KFC,
Yeah.
and like it's just, and there's like there's pictures or videos where people are like at the pyramids, and there's just like plastic bags flowing by, and
Yeah.
kind of takes the mystique away.
Yeah.
But you know, it'd be good. Mesquite, made from mummy bones.
Yeah. Just a little mummy bones in that. In this.
No, you toss the mummy bones in the fire and you smoke some of that cheese.
Yeah. You don't need
that kills the bacteria.
If you use a smoker, you only need a few bones.
Yeah.
Imagine the taste.
Well, I think we gotta take.
That's a good way to pasteurize the cheese. You smoke the cheese like a Gouda.
Yeah.
It kills all the
fine.
bacteria.
Yeah. Well, first things first, they need to toss it down that hill in the UK.
Yeah, if you catch it.
You keep it.
The reason I've called you all here today off Tinder, I got this mummy cheese, but only one of you can taste it.
If you chase this wheel of mummy cheese down the hill and survive, and you're the one who grabs it, you get to take a bite and then you can have sex with me. It's
Yeah.
the only way to find a date these days, and it's sick. Men only want one thing. 3,000-year-old cheese.
Don't you think it's like a little weird that men are only interested in eating mummy cheese dipped in mummy juice?
Men only want one thing, and it's sick. 1,000-year-old cheese.
3,200-year-old cheese. That cheese was already pretty ripe when Jesus was walking the earth.
Yeah. Jesus wouldn't even eat this cheese.
Yeah. Anyway, wow. Let's.
Can you believe that cheese was packaged only 1,000 years after the earth was created by
I know.
God?
It's wild.
Yeah.
How'd they get? Wow, it's damn.
Anyways, let's get to headlines,
Let's get
please,
to
for the
some
love of God.
headlines. Laziness is an effective survival skill, evolutionary biologists find.
Wow, the president's a perfect example of that. Maybe his whole battery thing is true.
Yeah, that's right.
You only have enough energy for one life, and if you run,
What are you doing
or
running
any
around? You're gonna die
exercise,
faster.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, actually, what they found, I guess technically, during all the big extinction events, the animals that survived were very like slow metabolism animals, like crustaceans and shit like that. Mm-hmm. But I choose to believe that by staying on my couch all day, I'm avoiding danger, and therefore more likely to pass
That's
my
true.
genes on.
Yeah, if you're out running, you get by a car.
Yeah, what are you doing?
Or, like, if you're just even driving to the gym, like, someone could
Yeah.
T-bone you, and that's it.
Yeah,
Stay inside, where it's safe, and do nothing but watch this show.
yeah.
So you can learn about how it's important to stay inside. And we've just justified your whole weekend.
The scientists would never lie.
No. Florida crocodile spotted using pool noodle to cross canal. There's crocodiles in Florida?
In the Keys.
Oh, okay.
But this is just another example. His laziness,
Yeah.
because they can swim.
Yeah.
But no, he
Very
found that
easily.
pool noodle. He's like, fuck yeah.
They can also run really fast on land too. You have
He's
to run.
just
Hey,
floating
good
there?
tip from a Floridian. You got to run in a zigzag. If you get
Thought that was a myth.
No, if you get chased by a gator, you got to run in a zigzag because they can't turn very well, but they're like bullets if they're going straight.
Is that same true of crocodiles?
I don't know about crocodiles. I only have experience with alligators.
Well, they've been around for a long time.
Longer than that cheese.
Since the dinosaur days. And
Hey, I've eaten alligator.
yeah,
That means I've eaten something that's technically thousands of years old.
yeah. And you're not sick.
No, that was fine. It was delicious.
Probably tastes good with that cheese.
Yeah, you should get some alligator nuggets if you ever go to Florida.
Yeah, it's good. It's like,
Everyone says everything tastes like chicken, but
it's kind of like more like shrimp. It has a kind of shrimpy texture. A chickeny taste with a shrimpy texture.
our next show is just us sampling bullshit foods. It's called Bizarre Foods with
Bullshit food.
Andrew Zimmerman, but it's just us, and it's called Bullshit Foods.
Yeah,
and it really makes
yeah.
you think.
It really makes you think, huh? You know, what if we spent as much time eating alligators as we do eating cows?
There'd be a lot less alligators. Anyway, everything that lives in the water in Florida is dying right now.
Yeah, it's real bad. As California's firefighters battled the state's largest wildfire, Verizon's throttled their data. And
It was a real shame that Phil wasn't around to talk about this week.
yeah, so this came up right after we filmed Tech News Day. I'll probably go into a lot more detail on this next week, because this story is infuriating, and it literally disproves a bunch of shit that Ajit Pai said when he was trying to justify net neutrality.
Also, there was I read one of the articles where they asked if they could have a temporary boost on the amount of data they can consume, and they were like, yeah, we could bump you up to this next tier for payment, and it was like double the price.
They had been in negotiations with Verizon for months before the fires even started. Like, guys, hey, we just realized that if you throttle us during an emergency event, like, people will die. Is there a way we can like guarantee that won't happen? Yeah, let me connect you to our other guy. Okay, so what you're saying is like, you want the ultra plan. No, like, we just want to know that if we're fighting a fucking fire, we're not going to lose our connection to GPS and shit so people won't fucking die.
Well, bro, I'll tell you what, I can get you a discount for the first 6 months. It's going to be a heavy discount. You're basically going to be paying exactly what you pay now. That'll, of course, bump up in 6 months, but we'll get you covered. You know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of when that Olympics team asked Delta for first-class tickets, and they're like, huh, good job on the Olympics. Have a safe flight. Obviously, this is way more severe because they're like, hey, we need this in case of emergency. And Verizon was like, that's great. Have a great wildfire season.
Yeah. Also, have you thought about signing up for VZW Cloud? It's the only way to save your photos to the cloud. What about Google Drive? I don't think so. You should pay $5 a month for VZW Cloud.
Hey, guess what? I got a deal for you guys. You firefighters, you're out there, you're on the front lines. We're gonna need footage of this stuff. Tell you what, you record a bunch of stuff, put it on Go90, we'll call it even. We are desperate for content. Fuck, we just went under.
What a terrible company.
Seems that way, right?
Yeah.
I heard Fios is fine. I don't know. It's not here.
Yeah. Man posed as ex-fiance's mother's ghost.
What?
He pretended to be the ghost of the mother of his ex-fiancée.
For what reason, though?
Well, his ex-fiancée dumped him because he was crazy, and she got a restraining order against him. So, in an effort to win back her affections, he sent her a letter claiming to be her dead mom.
Oh, I thought it was like in a sheet, like,
Hey, that would
it's me, your mother. You should get back with Charles. He's a wonderful man. I've been looking over him in your absence, and he's really turned his life around. He has a job, and he's been hitting the gym. He's a real catch.
No, it was even worse than that. It was a fucking letter sent through the mail, being like, hello, it's me, your ghost of mother. Gosh, isn't it crazy that I can communicate with you through letters? Well, anyway, enough about me. I heard you broke up with that real catch of a guy. Yeah. Well, what are you doing? You got to get back together with him. Anyway.
Oh, I was almost right, though.
Anyway, yeah, no, it was literally that. Like, wow, this amazing supernatural things happen. Yeah, I love you, whatever. I miss you. You should get back with your ex-fiancé. He's a really nice boy. She totally knew it was him because in the letter it referenced things that only he would know. Also, ghosts don't fucking write letters.
His phone number is 856543.
As we all know about ghosts, they before they appear in person, they send you a postcard.
Yeah. It's like getting served.
Yeah. Thinking of coming to haunt your house
also,
a bit.
Also, everyone knows ghosts, they have great memories.
Yeah.
When she was alive, she knew everything about this guy, and you sit up there and you think.
Yeah.
You're up there and you're like, and you're like, what would be best for my poor daughter now that I'm gone?
A good man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He can last very long in bed.
Heard his penis is 7, maybe 8 inches long. You were just looking at it from the wrong angle.
You have to measure from the asshole.
Yeah, well, good try, guy.
It was a bold,
great social experiment.
Yeah, he should send one to Natasha.
Yeah.
Natasha, it's me, you're a fucking bitch. It's your dead mother, you're embarrassing me in heaven.
I'm the male ghost.
All my friends are making fun of me.
I live inside the post office. I'm stuck in here.
And the DJ was her mom's ghost.
Spokane residents launch campaign to blow smoke back to Canada.
Is it them going like this? We gotta get the whole city together.
No, they're saying everyone in Spokane needs to take all the fans in their house, put them on the roof, and aim them north.
Yeah.
Get that smoke out of here.
It's like when
that's Canada's smoke.
It's like when Florida tried to fight the hurricane.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like that. This isn't. They're not serious. It's just a dumb. It's like the Florida page.
Like a Facebook group thing.
Yeah. And I guess they're raising awareness for the SPCLA or whatever.
We need to build a wall on the Canadian border to keep all the smoke out.
Yeah.
It's filthy.
They should hang up all their beef cutlets on the border.
Yeah.
Maybe their cheeses.
Make some good jerky. Yeah. Smoked.
Yes.
Outdoors. It's because fires up there, isn't it?
Yeah, no, British Columbia is in real bad shape. The whole West Coast is pretty much fucked right now.
Yeah.
Speaking of Canada, though, burned down house in Vancouver priced at $3 million.
Well, that's for the plot of land, right? It's gotta be.
I guess.
It's one of the most expensive cities in North America.
It is weird to me how expensive Vancouver and Toronto are. Even compared to places in the U.S., the property values there are insane.
Well, and I think it is.
Why?
I think it is too. It's like they have a lot of immigrants there too, because it's a coastal city.
Yeah.
They probably look at the U.S. and are like, fuck that. Let's go to fucking Canada.
Not a good time. Let's veer north.
They have so many lakes. It's beautiful. Vancouver, beautiful city.
I've never been.
I haven't been in a long time. There are parts of the city that are very filthy, but
that's every town.
I know, but as a picturesque city,
yeah.
They
got bald eagles
very,
flying
very...
around, stealing fish from real birds.
No, those are our eagles. You can't have those, Canada. Those are our eagles. If you see one up there, get a fan out and blow it back towards the United States.
Blow the eagles back to America. They're our eagles.
There's gonna be a war between Washington and Vancouver with just people on their roofs with fans.
What are you doing? You're blowing the smoke back over.
DB Cooper's just going back and forth. Military experts say Iran's new fighter jet is actually a U.S. plane from the 1970s. Believable.
And it is. There's a side-by-side, and they literally bunch of planes from the 70s. They just repainted them and like, hey, we invented this crazy new jet. Check it out. We're like a military superpower, guys. Mm-hmm. But no.
Are they all decommissioned too?
No, they're just like, Iran bought them like back during like the time of the Shah. Like they're just old fucking planes. Maybe they did some maintenance on them, put a GPS unit in or something, but it's literally just, they're old planes.
The GPS unit's just an old iPhone?
Yeah. They're acting like, hey, check it out, man. We're a force to be reckoned with our new planes that we just invented.
Yeah.
But why do they look like your old planes? Shut up.
Shut up. Woman falls off boat, husband doesn't notice for hours.
If you can read this.
The bitch
The
fell
bitch
off.
fell off.
Well,
Yeah, he says he thought she was like inside the boat taking a nap.
yeah, that makes sense. Like when you think about this, you think of like a fishing boat that is just
I don't
a
know.
piece of metal with a seat.
I think of an angry baby boomer like husband who hasn't been in love for a long time being like,
Whoops.
didn't see you fall off there. Whoops.
Putting fucking cooking oil all over the floor
Yeah.
next to the back end of it. No, but if you think of like if it's like any boat that's bigger than like a pontoon boat,
Yeah.
there's inside areas where you could go to sleep.
Yeah, he's like, oh,
believable.
The wife's asleep. I'm gonna get some fresh air out
Finally,
here.
get some fishing in.
Peace and quiet, some fishing.
Yeah.
This is great. Meanwhile, she's like, ah!
Did she live?
She lived. She had
Good,
like
good. We can joke about it
hypothermia or
then.
something. but,
She'll recover.
Yeah, she'll be fine.
Yeah, he's probably like the headline continues. Woman falls off boat. Husband doesn't notice for hours. Has the best day of his life.
Yeah.
That's like
I mean,
if it
he
was,
might have.
It's like written on the back of a Big Johnson T-shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We need to bring those back.
And he's just holding his dick as a fishing rod.
Yeah. Needs more dick puns around though.
Yeah. Children may be especially vulnerable to peer pressure from robots. Because robots, they're not strangers.
I don't got a problem with your robot lifestyle, but you stay the hell away from my kids.
Yeah.
This is an actual social experiment though, not some like social experiment. It's based off of a bunch of studies done in the 60s about compliance and stuff like that, where you put a bunch of actors in a room who are all supposedly like part of the study, but only one person is the actual person being studied, and everyone's like, look at those
Going
two.
along with it?
Yeah,
It's like the Stanford experiment, right?
well, no, they just they'll show them like two lines that are clearly like one shorter than the other, and they'll be like, all right, so if everyone could just point out which of these lines is longer, and the whole like everyone in the room's like points at the shorter one, and the person's like, yeah, the shorter one. Vsauce had a great episode about this kind of shit on his YouTube Red show. Mind Freak. or
Bald
whatever
Science
it's called.
Man?
Bald Science Man, yeah.
Yeah.
He had a good one about it. But this, they just did the same experiment, but with robots. And they found that adults don't really trust robots, but children,
Well, they have no reason not to.
yeah.
Robots look fun in everything that kids watch.
They're probably smarter than dad.
Yeah.
I'll trust this robot.
They'd beat me a whole lot less.
Yeah. Beer delivery men talk man out of jumping off bridge by offering him a 12-pack of Coors Light.
Hey, if that's all it takes, that's great.
Yeah, I mean, it's like,
I don't think alcohol's probably not going to solve his problems if he's suicidal.
it was more effective than like a Pepsi.
Yeah.
Like,
Kendall Jenner could
there's
really
gonna be
learn something
there's
from
gonna
this.
be a Coors Light ad in like 6 months with Kendall Jenner.
Coors Light.
Pull it
Coors
over.
Light. It'll save your life.
Yeah. Hey man, what are you doing? I don't want to live anymore. And then climbs back over. Taliban commits suicide. All the wildfires turn off because the ice train blows through them.
Yeah. The silver bullet,
Yeah, so
which looks a lot like that train from the dystopian future
Yeah.
movie, Snowpiercer.
the Snowpiercer train.
Snowpiercer train and the Coors Light silver bullet are the
Yeah.
same thing.
Yeah. It is good that it was Coors though. Like the man was clearly under a lot of stress, and luckily Coors helps you drink it.
Yeah, it has
Like,
that wide
had
mouth.
the wide mouth, so you can't fuck up the
He
drinking
knew it was
part.
cold because the mountains
Yeah.
are blue.
Yeah, they assist you in any way they can. Like,
And they were like,
it's not
"So
hard to drink.
You can drink the entire 12-pack. You won't even be drunk enough to drive home.
Yeah,
It's not true though. You
It's
should
a
not
great-
drink, don't drink and drive.
it's a rescue beer.
Yeah, it's a beer that you can enjoy if you have to be out all day at a
Don't
party.
drive a car. You might be able to ride a bike.
Don't drive a car after drinking at all. Uber exists, or you know what? Walk. It's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're gonna be out at a party all day and you've already arranged the safe drive there and back, Coors Light or any other light beer, a great thing to just sit and drink all day.
Yes,
without getting dangerously drunk.
If you're gonna day drink, you gotta at least start with very, very light beers.
Yeah.
If you're drinking IPAs in the middle of the afternoon in the summer, you are going to be blacked out before
Your piss
dusk.
is gonna be brown.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
You're
not
gonna
a
be-
fun. It's not a fun time.
Yeah.
Take it from us.
I know it tastes like piss, but you got to make sacrifices if
It
you
just
want
doesn't,
to
it
stretch
doesn't
it
taste
out.
like piss. It doesn't taste like anything. It's like sparkling water with a hint of hop.
Probably tastes. I'm sure mummy piss tastes like Coors Light.
Mummy piss.
When are they gonna dig some mummy piss up?
Wow, this mummy's bladder is full. I'll take that. There's just a bunch of like rich people standing by like excavation sites that are like, did you find anything edible?
All the good mummy shit got dug up in like the 1920s.
And that stuff was actually cursed.
Yeah. Now all that's left is like fucking cheese and juice.
Well, the problem is like now scientists are digging everything up.
Yeah.
And they think that curses aren't real.
Used to be anyone that could afford a fucking plane ticket to Egypt, just like, have at it.
Yeah, go nuts.
I got my shovel,
Yeah.
got my pickaxe.
Oh no, I'm cursed.
I'm gonna go dig up a 4,000-year-old monument.
Yeah.
See what's inside.
It's weird. This really, really rich guy died months after he uncovered this mummy because, well, he lived his life in excess, and that is a high risk, especially back then.
Yeah. Died doing what he loved.
It's being cursed.
Robbing tombs.
Yeah.
And being cursed. Anyway, that's it. That's the end of a, good God, longest episode ever. Please watch yesterday's episode about fucking self-owns.
Yeah.
Which are not cell phones, they're self-owns.
Yes.
And then Tech News Day about Elon Musk, and we're getting kind of worried about him. And
I don't even have to remember what Tech Tuesday is about anymore. I just say Elon Musk.
it's the Elon Musk / MoviePass show. We got our beat, and we stick to it.
And we'll see you tomorrow, probably. News dumper or something.
Yeah.
We'll see you. Bye.
Bye-bye.